Hey guys, it's Cal from the Lighting Doctor here. I hope you guys enjoy this video with some more great landscape lighting tips. To learn more about landscape lighting, go and check out our website at lightingdoctor.ca, or if you want to see what a real quality landscape light should look like, go and check out our Try It Before You Buy It offer, where you can get a premium quality fixture at a discounted rate with your very own battery pack, so you can go and test out how that light's going to look and feel what a real premium quality light should look like. So go and check us out at lightingdoctor.ca, or go watch more videos on YouTube just by searching for the Lighting Doctor. Hey Mike, thanks for taking the time to send in the pictures. Sorry the picture's not great here right now, but I love the pictures you sent at your home. Actually be heading down to Arizona in about a month. It's one of my favorite places to go. I'm a big golf nut, so and I love doing landscapes out there too, because you guys have so many cool, unique trees like I'm going to talk about, and the hardscaping work you've done there is awesome. And so I'm going to show you some ways to go and highlight that without littering your property with lights, what I see a lot of people do. I don't want to see the fixtures as much on your property. I just want to see that effect, because it's just got that such a natural rugged look. I would hate to ruin it with a lot of fixtures, so I'll show you how we're going to go do that. So a couple things. If I get into your pictures here, now I don't know how permanent some of this stuff is. I mean, in a perfect world, one of my favorite lights to use, I think it's one of the most, it's what I call my dark horse light. Any chance I can to possibly use this light, I use it because it's so easy to hide and make disappear. And it's great for hardscapes and areas like you have there. So what I like about this is anywhere you kind of have, like you do, where you have that solid ledge on top, usually this little the little plate you have here just slides right under that, and then you can just glue that top cap back on, and then this just kind of disappears. So where I would probably use that, I wouldn't use that up here, but if it's possible to use it down on the bench, I really like doing it down here and on both sides of the bench, because what it does is it lights up the walkway area, but it's not a distracting light, so you're not, you know, hitting your shin bone or anything on that fire pit, which I'm sure if it hasn't happened already, it's going to happen. Because I know I've done that several times. So that's what I would do if you can. I don't know if these are too permanent, you can't get that light under there, then it might not be, you might not be able to do that, is what I'm trying to say. But that's okay. You got some other really cool things we're going to work with. But if you can, I love the idea of getting that that wire under there and getting that light under there. It looks amazing if you can do that. So that would be the first thing I would do, looking at these pictures on both sides. I think that would look amazing. And then you've got these really unique trees, and it would be a crime not to highlight those, and you can accent those really simply with just some standard accent lights. You don't need anything special. They're not super high, so a standard one like this will do. The one thing I will say, anytime you have those trees that are so multi-branching and there's so many cool things that you could light up with it, trying to light those with one light, you often miss a lot. So what I would recommend is probably trying to use more than one. I think on a tree like this, you'd be okay to just get like one accent light in the ground here, and have that shining up. All the ones on our website here are a black finish, but in a case like yours, I'd probably look more like a Sedona brown or a bronze type finish, because it's really going to mesh well with the lamps. It's about an extra $10 to get that finish. It's not a big deal, because you're going to be able to mount these and hide these well enough in the rocks that you're probably not going to see them too much anyway. But that little extra bit will really help those lights disappear, like I talked about in the intro there. I don't want anybody to see these fixtures. I just want them to see at night how cool it's going to look. So getting one of those at the base on this tree I think would look great. And then on this tree here, this is where I think you're probably going to need more than one, maybe from like two different angles, two different viewing points, and keep that in mind. Wherever you want it to look the best from, that's where you kind of want to place that light. So, you know, in a perfect world, I think you're probably going to be looking at these trees from this area, so you probably want to have a light here so that the view from here looks really good. And then on this side, you know, probably from over here where you're sitting over here, and then another one on the other side. That's going to light it up, and you can kind of crisscross them, right? If you kind of have this one and it kind of shoots that way to light some of this top foliage, and then this one here, it gets the base, and then it gets kind of both tops of that tree, so it's going to look really good. So that's what I would do in that area. I wouldn't put a lot of path lights. Again, I don't want people to see those fixtures, but something I would do It's my favorite thing to do. Is you see how you have all this nice shadowing in the daylight when the sun's shining through these trees. Now it's really cool if you can do that at night by getting some lights up in the trees and having them shine through the trees down to light this. So instead of having a walkway or a path light that's sticking out of the ground here that's only going to light a small section, you get a light up in the tree that shines through these branches and creates this cool effect like you have a full moon every single night. My favorite thing to do. There's two ways you can do that. You can actually go and just go and mount a light up in the tree like this that's shining down. It's very easy to do. You can go search on YouTube, search lighting doctor, tree lighting videos. I talk about some where, we fasten the wire, all kinds of little tips I won't get into, otherwise this video is going to get way too long. But it's basically like that, and then it shines through. The other option is a hanging light, something like this. It's actually going to hang up on some branches and then shine down. And the reason I like that is this is not the best picture, but you can see how it kind of creates that cool shadowing effect at night. Around a sitting area like that, I love it because it's a real subtle effect. Nobody knows that light's up there until it comes on at night, and then it just pops and it looks amazing. So that's what I would do in that area. Now, it just depends. If you have some thick enough trunks up there that you can get that tree stake in and mount that light, I like using that a little bit better. It's a little bit more cost effective to do that, but if not, I do see you have a lot of nice hanging branches that you could, maybe get one over here somewhere that just lights up this section, and then maybe if there's a branch closer to the barbecue area or the fire pit area that hangs down, then you could light up that area. And same thing, utilizing this back tree, if there's some of those hanging branches that come out a little bit and you can do that, then you can just use that hanging light. But again, that's why I like using the directional light that you mount up there, because then you can kind of point it to where you want. So, if you have a couple branches or trunks or whatever you want to call them that are thick enough to get that in there, then I would definitely try and do that and get maybe one or two of those up here, and get one or probably one in this area that kind of shines down here. It looks like you might have another tree down here if you wanted to light this area. I love getting this effect at night. So that's what I would do for those areas, and I think you can easily do that. And the same thing, you have another nice tree here where I would probably try and get an accent light down at the base there and just highlight that guy too. And if there's any opportunity to use some kind of downlight there, another cool effect. The one other thing I will say, if you are going to go the route and you have those trunks that are big enough that you can mount a light like this, the one thing you might want to add to that is something called a hex baffle. And all a hex baffle is, it's like an extra little glare shield. It's a very inexpensive add-on, but what it does is it just helps so that as you're sitting under those lights or near them, this is the hex baffle, fits over top of the lens here, and what it does is so that if you're sitting under those lights, you're not getting the light in your eye. It's really helping deflect that and just keep that light kind of more concentrated where it needs to be, just so there's less chance of it hitting you in the eye, because you really just want to get that effect. You don't want a light shining in your eyes. So yeah, I think I've kind of covered that area. If I go to the next section here, again, amazing walkway. You could totally put some path lights in here. The one thing I would say is if you needed to put a path light in an area like this, I would spend the money and try and get something a little bit more modern looking. I think a path light like this, which is a really popular one, it is a lot more than the kind of standard mushroom ones, but it fits with kind of that modern landscape a lot more, and usually you can use more. It's a little bit brighter, it spreads the light a little bit further, and in a case like that where you are, the reason I like this one is because it has like a 270 degree spread, whereas this is like 360. So why that's important is that here, if you have that light, the 360 light, path light here, it's lighting back here, but you don't necessarily need that. Whereas if you have that more modern one, it's going to cover everything out in front, which is really where you're trying to focus the light. So the one thing I would say, if you were going to use those, you really don't need too many of them. I might have one kind of in here that kind of shines this way, and then I might try and get another one somewhere up top here that kind of shines down that way, but I wouldn't put more than two in there. That being said, if you want to stay away from path lights, I think another good way is accenting this tree from the base. And then again, you get one of those hanging lights up here, and that's going to do a really nice job of highlighting this walkway. And you're done with 2 lights as opposed to having to put a bunch more path lights. So that would be my suggestion in that area. And you know, the only thing is it might not light all of these by doing that. But even if you can get one, and if there's one a little bit closer, I think it does a good enough job. And I think these are probably pretty dark areas anyway. And the darker the area is, the more that light actually spreads. So it might be enough. But if you wanted to throw a light here, that's where, again, you know, if these aren't permanent yet, and you can slide one of those undercap lights under this top stair, and maybe under this stair, or even just on this top stair, just so it bounces that light off of here so you can kind of see that area a little better, then that's probably what I would do. Again, I like those undercap lights more than some of the other lights, you know, you see for steps that sit in there and then they shine out. The problem I've run into or seen with those is that as you're walking up those stairs, you have this light shining right in your eye, and it's kind of doing the opposite of what you're trying to get it to do, which is light the stairs, not your eyeballs. So if you could get an undercap light in there, because these aren't permanent yet, I really like that idea too, as well as some of the other areas. Now, I love the beautiful patio you have here. I think, you know, again, I wouldn't want to throw too many path lights, but I will give an idea. Same thing though, I would try and focus on the perimeter and lighting some of these cool trees, lighting this guy. If you can get a hanging light or 2 up here, I would definitely try and do that. But I will give you another really cool idea. Yeah, so this area here, so this is kind of a unique light. Again, if you can get an undercap light, then great, but if not, I want to give you this idea. So I'm a huge fan of using a light like this. It's an in-ground light that you can, it's got kind of these 4 quadrants, and you can block off 2 or 3, or I mean, you wouldn't block off all 4, but you can block some of them off. And then what you get is this, where you have a light that's in the ground. It's kind of a path light because it's shining light across onto the path in the area that you want, but you don't see that light. And that's what I like about what you've done. You've got this really natural looking stone, and I don't want to litter it with all these path lights. Whereas if you were to use something like this, and I'll be honest, they are more again than those traditional path lights, but that's because the effect and everything you get out of them is so much cooler. So it just goes in the ground. You can either have them blacked out, you know, have these 2 open, or if you need one that's 270, you can just black out 1 shroud, and then you have all 3, and then it does a really cool job. And it's, you don't have to worry about it getting knocked over, kicked, you know, any of that stuff. So I really like that for these kind of areas. If you could, you know, kind of get one of those in there, and even if there was a way still to get one of those kind of in here that shines across this way, and then you get one of those over here that kind of shines across this way, and maybe another one that shines that way, and then a couple other areas like this, you know, just the different areas. And it just depends. Or I mean, if you even can get one under some of these areas, you always can, but I think I like them more on the sides. If it's not quite enough light, that's where you could use those undercap lights in a couple areas like that. So I know I'm being pretty vague, Mike, but you've got so many cool features. I really wanted to give you those ideas. Again, another possibility for those hanging lights. So if you did those in-ground lights that shine across, you had that hanging light, nobody in the daytime would even know you had landscape lighting, but when they come and visit at night, they would sure as heck notice that. And I'll tell you, whenever we do a project like that where people don't see the fixture and they don't know it, and they just see the effect at night, they're always more impressed, because they'll come and walk around with us during the day and they don't even know where those lights are until the sun goes down, and then they just see the cool effects. And it fits good in a situation like yours where you do have that really natural look. So I hope that kind of gives you some ideas from there. Let me know if you have any questions, and if you need help kind of picking and choosing some of those lights, because we don't always put those on our website, because they are very specific situations, especially for the DIYer. They're not any tougher to put in. It's just not something that most people think about, so it's something we kind of like to custom recommend and put together for you. So email me any questions you have. I'm happy to help. Thanks for sending in your pictures, Mike, and who knows, maybe we'll run into you in Scottsdale. or sorry, in Arizona. Hey guys, now I'm going to show you some tree lighting examples and how we do that. Now I'm going to do it down low here. I've got my ladder. I'm going to go put it up in the tree, but it's tough to get my camera up there. So this is how we do it. We do it with these tree mount stakes, and the reason I like these is they're no maintenance. Sometimes you'll see people will mount lights to trees just using like a regular bracket, but what happens is as that tree grows, eventually grows right over that bracket, right over the wire and all that. So I'm going to show you how to do this properly so that you don't have to worry about that. And it's with these tree stakes. Super easy. See, the light screws actually into the top of here, and then this screws into our tree. So basically what I do is I just get it started with the hammer, get it in there a little bit, and then you can just use any screwdriver or anything. There's a little hole here, and you can just tighten that on. Keep spinning until you get it all the way in there. And the nice thing about that is now as the tree grows, it's easy to go and back that off. So as the tree starts getting wider and starts getting closer to the end, all you have to go do is do the opposite now, and you can just slowly back that off a little bit. So that's why I like that. Once you got it in there, pretty simple. Then your fixture is just a 1/2-inch thread, just pops in there and screws in. Now I don't have this all the way in, so it's not going to be super steady, but it'll give you the right idea. And then you just make your adjustments, shine it down. One thing I will say is anytime you're doing downlighting, something you do want to do is get one of these hex baffles. I don't know if you can see this little honeycomb. Sorry, this bee's bugging me here. This little honeycomb shaped filter. Basically what that does is this goes underneath the lens. And then now, when that's shining down, it helps deflect the glare, because especially with downlights that are shining down, if you walk right under it or kind of in the proximity of it, sometimes it's shining right in your eye. What this does, it helps deflect that a little bit, so it's not as bright in your eye. And then lastly, the other question I get is how do you go and secure the wire to the tree? Because you can leave it just dangling like this, which is great, but then it's visible and people don't always like that. So how you can go secure that is actually just use these zip ties with screw holes in it. Again, another reason that we use those is because it's easy to go and back that screw off as that tree grows bigger. Because so many times I see people who just screw the wire or staple it to the tree or something, and then within a year or two you can't find that wire anymore because the tree's grown right over it. Well, this eliminates that. And basically all you do now is you go and you screw that zip tie to the tree. And then you can go now, put the zip tie around the wire, and then you can secure it to the tree. But what it does too is not only does it keep it from the tree growing around it, but as that tree grows, now the wire has some play so it can grow with it. So at the base, anytime you do tree lighting, you want to leave a little bit of wire coiled up and buried so that tree can grow, and you just keep pulling that wire up. And if you need to, over time, you can back this off. That's how you keep lights in trees for a long, long time. And with the lights that we use, they're designed for that. They're not designed to only be up there for 3 to 5 years. They're designed to be up there for as long as you want them to. So that's how you go properly mount a light in a tree to get that cool downlighting effect we talk about all the time. Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video presentation with some great tips and tools on how to go and properly and effectively light up your landscape. And be sure, if you want your own free consultation video, just send me an email at cal@lightingdoctor.ca with a few pictures of your property, and we'll get back to you with some really cool ideas and ways to go and effectively light your property. And be sure to watch the videos after this one for more tips on how to install landscape lighting, as well as how to light up your landscape the best way possible.